My Lords, I wanted to just commend the noble lady Baroness Sugg for leading on this, and actually an excellent, clear speech that she's just given, but the previous debate, which I read about in Hansard. But first of all, I think that this is an example of a difficult area that people have steered clear of for many years because they were frightened that if they talked about it, they would be accused of racism. That's the first thing. Secondly, that it's not therefore understood because it hasn't had that kind of public exposure in broad society. And I think that the moving of these amendments and the fact that the government have accepted them will actually help raise the debate in a way that's not sort of seen in any kind of suspicious way. And I think the, whether it's clans or family structures or what have you, the multi-perpetrator point is well made, very important and not understood. My only reservation, and I don't even know whether I've got this reservation, is that I have been very involved in and concerned about joint enterprise law, in which, if you want, not one perpetrator was found guilty, but a group of perpetrators, and that has led to a huge number of miscarriages of justice, and there was a debate on it only recently in the House. The dangers of everyone being drawn in the vicinity, guilt by association in any way, does make me nervous from the point of view of ensuring that we aren't criminalising people who are part of the family and maybe looked away, but not necessarily perpetrators. However, in general, I agree with the point. If that could be cleared up, that would be very helpful. In general, though, I do think as well that the clearer we can be in the way the law is explained in this House, rather than waiting for the courts to interpret us, I thought that was a very good point well made, the better. And secondly, just to say, for those who were involved in the earlier debate, which was rather fractious, on misogyny and women and so on, I would just like to say this is what I regard as heroic work in fighting against crime against women and misogyny, and anyone who's been involved in moving these amendments and persuading the government to actually adopt them deserves to be highly commended, because this is what lawmaking should be, rather than signalling one's disapproval.